Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 31 of the Glory Days podcast. Ladies and gents, we are back
with a win.
Finally, we are here with a win.
Finally.
Many dubs taken tonight, but none as big as the 4-1 win that we just took over Adelaide. And for all of you glorious and sad, well, really now sad bastards that were predicting a Luka Jovanovic 97th minute winner, fuck you.
Well, we were, in fairness, predicting a loss ourselves.
Well, that's besides the point.
I'd be lying if I said I thought we were going to win, but I'm just very happy. It's a great way to end the miserable season.
Yes.
Well, there's still 2 games to go.
Yeah,
that don't
at
count.
home.
Well, before we get into... Did we have time for fan comments?
We did have a few.
We did have a few fan comments, but do want to just give a quick shout out.
Sure.
Now, I was fortunate enough after the game to have a quick word with the Jaylan Pearman family, and I got this glorious signed... I'm just going to put that in front of Will because no one wants to see that. Sorry, Will. I had the chance to get this gloriously signed Jaylan Pearman head. Absolutely beautiful stuff.
That'll be worth $50 million in life.
Oh, I'm holding on to that as an investment. That's going right in the background.
I would never sell your head, Jaylen. Just saying.
Whoa.
Wow.
But I do want to just give some quick shout-outs on behalf of all of us at the podcast. I'd like to give a quick shout-out to Coda, Reva, Sarah, Taylor, Tony, Kyson, and Auntie Steph. Can't forget Auntie Steph. Thank you all so much to the Jaylan Pearman family and to just the Pearmans in general for your continuous support.
Yeah.
And they let us know that they were massive fans of the pod. So thank you guys so much. It is support like yours that really keeps everything here ticking. Yep. And it's been a really shit season for all of us here, but to know that we have the support of not only...
Professional yapper.
Well, not only the glorious...
Shut up.
Shut up! I'm trying to say nice things, Will! Shut up!
What we will...
You shut up as well! I'm not finished! While it's great to know that we have the support of all the lovely Glory Days fans at home, it really strikes home when we have players reach out to us and say that they love stuff. So thank you, Jaylen. Thank you to the Pearman family. You guys are all fantastic. And now onto the fan comments.
Okay, now what I was going to say, before we touch on the fan comments, as like a quick thought of the game, Pearman was outstanding.
Oh.
And it's just a shame, again, like we've mentioned so many times on this podcast, that we're not going to be able to, as a club, really be able to value that transfer that he will have to QPR by having a nice transfer fee, because obviously it's important for Perth Glory to be a development pathway for ideally West Australian players. But, you know, he was outstanding, and when he got subbed off, I think the whole stadium gave him a big round of applause, which was massively deserved. We did have some...
Water now.
We did have some fan comments. Bear in mind, we're doing this straight after we got back, so to that one person that said we don't go to games, haha.
What's his name again?
We'll leave it. It doesn't have a name.
We were not.
No.
We go to the games, believe me, we go.
We've
got season tickets and shit.
Right.
We don't miss it.
Me, rent-free, Alex.
Okay, here we go. So, Ethan... Firstly, I am amazed at watching us score 4 and playing good attacking football. Second, I really hope Pearman gets good minutes at QPR because he could end up a Socceroo in a few years' time. And Bulgaria returned from China 10 times better than before. He could be important next season. Muller, rip Steve Armstrong. You would have loved the Matt Milford halftime show.
Correct.
Lachlan, great win. Ball movement was sharp. Pennington and Amos were machines. But if we are being honest, we don't score 4 against any other team tonight, even if it was Brisbane. Adelaide's defence is that non-existent that most attacks we were through on goal.
Yeah.
Jordan, such a shame we gave away Pearman for free. The guy could have saved Spurs. He's that good. How it's taken us 24 games to score more than 2 goals in a game baffles me, considering we were promised attacking football. And Dylan, massive performance by the boys. Thought Majex was very solid considering he's barely had a start all season.
Yeah.
Majex really stood up tonight.
Yeah, what did it take till like the last home game to start, Majex?
I don't know, especially considering that. Look, I think Waterkudis is really good. I don't see why after tonight's performance Majex shouldn't be in contention for a starting centre back spot going forward, especially if we don't have any plans to bring in someone like an Alex Grant to play alongside Labib next year.
Well, especially earlier in the season when we were struggling with injuries and we brought in those
100%.
visas. Like, I don't understand why we couldn't have played him.
100%.
We'll have to see how things go, because obviously there was the rumour that we will be raiding Wellington for Scott Wooten and Sam Sutton. So I guess it's like, well, if we've got Sutton and Zdrilic, well, look, we may as well break it to the viewers if you've not seen. David Zdrilic will be staying next season. That's confirmed.
According to Ross.
Well, no, it was also
Oh.
in the press conference as well. David confirmed it. He's not going anywhere. So I think the interesting thing will be seeing how we can fit in.
James is over the moon, by the way.
Now hold on. Well,
Yep.
we'll discuss it a little bit later on. But
we'll discuss it, all right,
yeah,
James.
but it'll be interesting to see how we fit those new boys in. But just in terms of the starting lineup, what were our thoughts on it? Were we happy with the team that David selected, or did we think, what the fuck?
I mean, I feel like obviously Whale was being injured. We sort of worked with what we had.
Yep.
I mean, I was interested why Gamulka was just not even on the bench, but from who we had, I thought it was a reasonable lineup.
I thought it was fine. I mean, like, look, obviously there was some choices that were made that I don't exactly agree with in terms of the starting lineup. However, in terms of on-field performance, I don't really think that I can fault anyone tonight. I think everyone had a relatively good game. There are a few mishaps here and there, but this is what we were looking for the entire season. And I know that people are going to say, oh, well, Zdrilic is putting up some good performances now, so maybe this is the time to back him. Well, where the fuck was this for the first 24 games of the season is what I would like to know. I would really like to know where this performance was.
The boys definitely got to
Sorry,
pick up the
Will, what were your thoughts on the starting lineup?
I thought the lineup was good.
No, you didn't.
Anything else?
No, you didn't.
No, I thought for what we had, what we have available, it was the best we could have got. But reiterating what you guys said, there's nothing we could really have changed about it. To be honest, we played what we had available. I think that we had the subs we had on the bench were the right subs, and the players we had on the starting field were the ones we had to have. Like I don't think I would have swapped anyone just in terms of the depth we did have on the bench already, because I think everyone who started has shown that they can start.
Yeah.
The boys definitely did get a kick up the arse pre-game.
Had to have.
Well,
there is definitely a difference.
Well, not in the first 5 minutes at least, because Adelaide were all over us.
Yeah.
I think that is important
I think we should
to.
better display this Jaylan Pearman head, by the way. It's not really properly being.
Do you want me to just hear?
Just.
It's all right. No. Well, no. I don't want you to be cut out here, Will.
All right. Okay.
There we go.
No worries. That just definitely isn't
This
weird.
is not creepy.
This is weird.
All right.
Just leave it there.
There we go.
No,
Now
what I was-
you can see Jaylan.
No, what I was going to say was that, and I think we all agreed that the first 5 to 10 minutes, we looked fairly shaky, and it was sort of like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah.
Just with how Adelaide had the ball and were able to work it through us very easily, and then we were like, whenever we had the ball, shit, what do we do? But I think it wasn't until we clocked in that Adelaide were playing such a ridiculously high line, and with Javier Lopez at fullback, that they were just baiting or asking rather, like, to see if Nicholas Miljusnic had, the wheels left. And to be fair, for Adam Taggart's goal, he certainly did.
Yeah.
I mean, if the build-up play wasn't too much there, but it was just about getting the ball forward and then causing a bit of chaos rather than taking 10 years to get the ball into the box. So I thought for Taggart's goal, the move itself was nice and swift and a good outcome.
I was also surprised as well. Well, maybe not necessarily surprised, but sort of pleased to see how well that sort of overload was doing in attack down both sides.
Yeah.
Now, look, we were expecting, especially on that right-hand side with Miljusnic, for it to be a lot more direct. And it was. That really gave us Tags his first goal. Miller made some really, really nice runs for the rest of the game down that side. But down the left side, I was really, really pleased to see how well we were overloading, especially when Masao got forward. And if you are looking to add someone like Sam Sutton next year, it just screams to me that this needs to be a 3-back or a 5-back going into next season. You need to have those wing-backs that can push forward.
Does it have to be a 3-back though?
Oh, 100%. 100%. At least in attacking transition, it needs to be a 3-back. Because if you are going to get someone
wait. When we have the ball, you mean?
Oh, when we have the ball, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
with,
that's fine.
With the impression that we're going to go for Sam Sutton.
Well, I think that's done.
100%. You do not go for Sam Sutton unless you are planning to push Sam Sutton forward.
Well, that move for me just makes sense anyway, because it just would allow Risdon to be a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
And then assuming we can get some other deals done, potentially, then to think what our attacking dynamics could be next season is really exciting. But I think just in the meantime, that Taggart goal, I said this to you boys during the game, but we haven't really attacked like that since Stadge. that felt like watching a Stadge game almost. And I know maybe some fans will go, no, we don't really see that. But I was thinking the way in which we attacked, how we were able to generate those fast attacks was very much like last season, where it was like watching Stadge ball all over again.
Yeah.
Are you saying that we sacked Stadge just to wait 24 games to get Stadge ball back again? Is that what we're saying?
Possibly.
But let's stick with it, guys. We've got it. It's finally clicking.
Any thoughts on Taggart's goal, Will?
Just a tap in, really.
Fuck.
No, it was a nice tap.
It was a nice tap in.
finish. Look, we can comment on this for the other goals too. I will have to say that in terms of goalkeeping performances,
Holy shit.
Adelaide's keeper,
Virtually.
Bit smelly.
He's a bit,
Ugh.
loves to get a hand to the ball, just can't seem to quite keep it out once he does get a hand to it.
Spaghetti arms.
Like I will say, I don't think many keepers in the league are saving that shot from Taggart. Not because it was like an amazing shot, but it's hard to save any kind of shot from that kind of distance out. You know,
When
and
you
to
get
be
wrong
fair
footed, you're cooked.
shut up. And when you're that close out and Taggart pulls out the kind of finish he did, which he wouldn't have been expecting, a little flick from behind. I just think it confused him to the point where I don't think many keepers would have been able to figure out what he was doing. So it was a very classy finish. And Millet really showed that he still has got that pace, and he didn't break himself after the running, which was really good. But speaking of goal, Pickford's just lost his shit. Okay, he's just the corner of my eye. Pickford's just screaming.
It's either he starts screaming or he just starts humping the goalpost. Or something.
He's just gone mental. No, good goal by Tags, good finish. But perhaps the keeper could have done a bit better.
Josh, what do you think?
Oh, I mean, it was just
Good.
it was just like I was happy to see Tag score, but like, I mean, I expected him to score that, but like, obviously, he got a good connection to it, and it was great assist by Millet. To be honest, I was a bit sus when he went to like cross it in, because I was like, oh, is he gonna get this to Tags? But no, I thought it was a great like team goal.
We've given the next player who scored a fair bit of shit, but may as well give him a bit of credit. Fair play, Trent Osler, for getting the second goal.
He actually, this is probably, in my opinion, probably his best performance in a Glory shirt.
Even if he didn't score, I still think it was.
100%.
But I think
goal aside, this is probably one of his best ever performances in a Glory shirt.
I did notice that he was he was linking a bit better with the team as well. I feel like as a whole, like you were saying, it was clicking a little bit more.
So maybe things are starting to fall into place. But we'll save the Zdrilic debate for the end.
Shut up.
But in terms of some thoughts on the Osler goal,
second of the season.
Yeah, but I thought just solid. You know, obviously the ball came out to the edge of the box, and it was like just go and pull the trigger. And for as much as it took a deflection.
Can I just make a quick point before I forget as well? Sorry.
Sure.
No way.
The one game that David Zdrilic decides to wear a suit, and this is the performance we get.
He didn't wear a suit.
He wasn't in a suit.
Not wear a suit?
No, he's in
No.
he's in like a turtleneck looking thing, like a long sleeve.
I've been the one that's been bitching saying wear a suit.
I thought he was wearing a suit.
He was wearing he's basically wearing what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
David Zdrilic, wear your turtleneck or something. Your lucky turtleneck.
That's what he
because
always wears.
That's what he always wears.
Well, wear it better.
Alex, get better internet connection.
says. My God.
Thoughts on the Osler goal, Alex? Given we have given him a fair bit of crap.
Look, we have given Osler a bit of shit, and
praise.
to be honest, we have given him a lack of credit, mostly because I feel like with Trent, most of it's come down to the fact that we know he's not a bad player. It's just that.
Some of his deficiencies have been exposed.
Yeah. He does get exposed quite a bit, and it's not his fault. But when you do put him in 1v1 situations against maybe fullbacks like a Sam Sutton, or fullbacks like a Garuccio, or some really high quality fullbacks that maybe have a bit of pace about him, he does get exposed a bit because while he does have good strength and he has a good footballing brain, he doesn't necessarily have those sort of explosive qualities that you'd want in a young winger.
Yeah.
I think he's a phenomenal player, pretty much.
You need him
maybe
in the
not
team.
phenomenal player, but he's a really good player anywhere you put him. Right back does a really good shift. Right wing, left wing tonight did a really good shift. He's played in the midfield before. He's played in striker before. He's done a really good shift.
I feel like he'd be better as like a midfielder because he's got a really good like vision for the game.
Yeah,
but he just doesn't have that like
explosiveness.
I really do not mind him at all as a right back. He's actually pretty solid defensively. But tonight he actually showed that he was really good with finding space, and that was one thing that I noticed a lot tonight with Trent, is that he was, I don't know whether it was intentional or not, but he was finding a lot more space than usual. And maybe that's because Adelaide were just trying to overload in attack as much as possible, that Trent naturally just found that space because it opened up for him better. That's probably what it was. But I have the feeling like that was a big key to his success tonight, and to the success of guys like, eventually we'll discuss Jaylan Pearman, guys like Mile Jurnic tonight having his best game of the season by far, Bulgaria having his best game in a glory shirt by far. There was lots of guys that stood out tonight that have struggled to stand out this season. And yes, you can say it was because of a lackluster Adelaide side, but I think that they put up some really strong performances tonight.
Will, thoughts?
Look, again, we always say look for everything.
Oh, look.
Look, I've given my fair share of, thoughts on Mr. Osler. But I've never said he's a bad player. Unfortunately, a lot of the time, he just doesn't quite fit the system that Dave wants to run.
Yeah.
He's just not quite the player that runs in the same system. We've seen him in different systems be very effective. It's just unfortunate for him that we're kind of going in opposite direction. We're a very fast, quick on the ball, whereas he sometimes seems to like be a bit slower, take more time on the ball, find the right pass. Whereas for us, is much more
can be a bit
touch
clunky.
and go.
He would have been really good under Popovich.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Popper.
100%.
No, 100%.
100%.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, I think because there's a lot more time on the ball for the midfielders under Popper. But there were times in this game where he was able to make that really quick turnaround pass and send people through. There's that one pass in the middle I'm thinking about with Jaylen, that further down in the line,
That was nice.
which was a great pass.
Yeah.
So he had his best game for sure. Probably deserved a goal.
Yep.
Wasn't you take it. It's in the back of the net. It doesn't matter how you score them as long as they go in the back of the net. Once again, not the keeper's fault.
No.
But
Suspect still.
Yeah.
You stop it.
It's just it's just again very suspect defending by Adelaide. Just like it was pretty poor.
I will say I do feel bad for Adelaide. Ever since Gauchi's left, they've not found a single solid keeper. Delianov has been pants. Stephen Hall was lost to Brighton before they could even give him a proper run.
Yeah.
Ethan Cox looked okay for one game and then was shit.
Yep.
And now Vituli is not looking good at all.
But
So
it's because
Adelaide's nightmare of goalkeepers continues. They might need to
But
get
they're-
some
Look, I know
experience
they
in.
got. I know we.
Are you interested in
absolutely-
Ollie Sale is the question.
Okay, I know. I know they got absolutely we tore them a new arsehole, but I just feel like the Adelaide owners aren't. I know this is a Perth Glory podcast, but they're not backing their manager correctly.
No,
because
they're
I think it
stingy.
was unfair.
You do hate to see when an A-League
suck
club doesn't get proper backing financial. And look, better for us because it means that, that's one side that we don't have to worry breaking the bank and, becoming
English.
light years ahead of us like the Victory or Sydney or
Yeah.
Auckland are at the moment.
Yeah.
However, you don't like to see it because it only really hurts the league.
They
on
should have.
average.
They should have been reinvesting that money into the playing squad. Like the amount of money that they made off the likes of Irankunda,
Gauchi,
There's
Craig Goodwin.
Yeah, so many of their players. I mean, we would only dream to have a transfer fee like that for some of our players. So, but that's the thing.
But Viet has done amazing, even for Adelaide to be where they are now. Because I said pre-season, I said with the squad they have, they're going to finish like 10th. Because
Does
they've
make you wonder
definitely
who he's replaced by as well.
I think it's someone Dutch.
You reckon it's someone?
Yeah,
you reckon it's someone from PSV.
Well, someone that has a connection to Ernst Faber. That's what I think.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I just think like it's been one of their problems. Adelaide, like they're such a great team when they go forward, but defensively, holy shit! Because so many times they've been bailed out by the likes of Gauchi or one of their good young defenders, and I just think that the damn wall's broken for them. Unfortunate for us that after that nice period where we were 2-0 up, our hopes temporarily came crashing down after a bit of a mistake by Josh Risdon for Ben Falami's goal.
Yeah.
It was pretty shit.
Yeah.
It was risky playing out from the back like that. It was a pretty couple of poor passes that led up to Risdon getting the ball in that position. Took a bad first touch, and then the rest is kind of history after that.
I do rate though. He did he did keep his head up and he played well after that. He didn't sort of
really
give up.
good game.
You'd expect that from a senior player, in fairness, like Rizzo. Just to be calm if there's a mistake, just go again.
I really don't mind the fact that we were trying to play out the back more as well. I don't like how we sort of resorted to the long ball for the rest of the half after that.
No, that was shit.
I think that we sort of went into our shell a bit because we made one mistake playing out from the back and it cost us a goal. And it wasn't even the fact that it was playing out from the back. It was the fact that Josh had a really, really shit first touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that aside, we looked really good for that opening 25 minutes. Up until that goal, we actually looked like a really good side.
Adelaide really struggled to create anything of note. Like, they would have some good approach play, like in their midfield third, but once it got into those critical areas, we were able to deal with them.
We
really
beat their press
effectively.
relatively well as well.
We did, and I think in the sense of the team evolving, you know, today was a good step.
Yeah.
But the question is, like, we debated among ourselves, was like, is this a false dawn? Because we've been here before where we've had a good win, albeit while it's been rare.
I've played these
It was a good win. And then when you touch on the second half, that's when we really turned it up a gear.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was saying to Josh, I was like, you know, we sort of need, you know, a third goal to kill it. Jovanovic and Dekula coming on, I immediately went, oh no.
Yeah.
In a world of shit.
No, but it was more because in the pre-game when we were talking about it, you read out the Adelaide lineup and then you mentioned two names on the bench and you said, oh, they've got Dekula and Jovanovic on the bench. And then we all unanimously agreed that we always drop off in the 55th minute.
Yeah.
And as soon as they bring them on in the 60th, which they did, that we would get cooked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But somehow, well, to be fair, that opening 5 to Cooley looked really good.
We shut them down.
And then after that,
we shut them down.
we shut them down.
Because we either doubled up on the Cooley side. Like, the Cooley just couldn't get that separation. Like, there were loads of times when he tried to take on... Like, there's one point when they had a corner, he tried taking on Pearman and then couldn't get past him.
But that's when we play to someone like Osler's strengths.
Yeah.
When we did end up moving sort of Bagari into that cam position, shifting Pearman out to the left, obviously Pearman probably works at his best through the centre, and you can say, well, he only scored those 2 goals off of the left because of the overload and he had a bunch of space, whatever. Still really 2 nice taken goals.
Yeah.
But leaving Osler on that side with Risdon, especially when DeCooley was trying to run at Risdon, double teaming him in that situation was really good from
Clever.
Zdrilic. I don't know if Zdrilic did that on purpose. Dave, if you did, fair play, because that was actually a really, really good move. And I noticed that. I didn't want to say it during the game because I was scared that if I mentioned it, someone was going to give away a pen or some dumb shit.
Yep.
But it was really good. Really, really good.
We may as well touch on the Starboy.
You okay?
You're right there, Will?
Just making sure we're all still on the same page here. Alex.
What?
Let's just...
No. I can credit one decision that's
All
really
right.
He's made one good tactical decision.
Let's talk about Jaylen.
So,
one thing I do want to
games.
say real quick about Jaylen
No.
is obviously, like it or not, he is leaving. But I think this game especially showed the importance of going into next season, how we need to sign a quality creative player.
Yeah.
Here's the question, though, right?
Who?
That's one good question. The second question is, what do you do with the likes of Bulgaria and Sebi Despotovsky coming through?
You have to phase them in so that then... The one thing that we've learned, not just this season, but the last few seasons, is that it is unfair to place a huge amount of burden on the young players to not just perform, but carry the team. We've just been lucky that Pearman was able to get into the team and hit the ground running and not look back. Not every player is going to be able to have that sink or swim sort of mentality.
Yeah,
we need to have it. And Stan sort of mentioned this when he had that interview where it's like you have a good starting 11 and then you have a few good depth players that come on and they can easily be starting 11 players in their own right. We need to do that so that when our young players get into the team, we mentioned this at the start of preseason because we thought we had a good team with the experience, but we really need to get good quality experience so that they're not under pressure. Because imagine how good Pearman or some of the other young boys could have been at the start of this season, rather, if we had a better environment for them.
Yeah. Even if you had someone better for them to learn off, could you imagine if we had someone like
Mankosu?
Someone like Mankosu, or even back in the day with Diego Castro.
Yeah.
Having someone like Pearman or someone like Bulgaria learning from someone like Diego Castro.
That's what we need for next season. But in the meantime, it's fantastic that we have someone like Jaylen. And in terms of his first goal, if I recall correctly, it was the long ball from...
It was the long ball from Pennington. He took it down on the left foot, one-on-one with the keeper, and then he finished far post.
Beautiful goal. Beautiful goal. Again, similar to like a Stadge sort of goal from last season where it's like you pull something out your ass and then bang, you threw on goal.
That was Kolakovsky heritage.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. And He is having a ridiculous season. I mean, I can't recall really a young Glory product coming onto the scene and just going bang. I can't recall the last time. Hey,
Danny De Silva is literally the last one. Even with guys like
that's fair.
Italiano and Benny, they're great young players in their own right.
Yeah.
They were great young players,
but Danny
never
came
really
on and just went.
the scene.
Pearman. I think he's been exceptional.
He's the next De Silva that we have. Yeah.
Don't say he's the next.
No,
I said that we have. I didn't say he's the next Danny De Silva in general. But what he's done for us.
I'd take Danny De Silva here next year.
No, but the point is,
crazy thing is though, he's
Yeah.
18. Like I still can't
Yeah.
When you watch him play, you go, oh, this guy's like at least he's like 21, 22, but he's 18. That's just
He looks a bit like
Tommy Rogic regen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I see it.
That's the thing. It's like they've got the similar sort of stride and just technically so composed, and just like even the small things like how he can turn away from his man and then create. I think in the first half there was that one chip that he tried to play through to Taggart, and it just almost didn't work.
That was nearly perfect.
But it was. But that's the thing. He's got the confidence to try it and give it a go. And not all the passes or all the turns or all the attempts are going to work. But
it's the fact that you have the balls to do it.
Exactly. And for that goal that he took, the touch, excellent. For some players, even senior players, that touch could have bounced off like a trampoline. But instead, he brought it down and just a really composed finish. And I think from that point was where we killed the game. And then Adelaide obviously had to go for the throat. But in terms of that first goal from Pearman, what were your guys' thoughts?
That was brilliant, man, honestly.
I don't think there's any other words to describe it. It was just really good finish.
Really good.
Yeah, it was just a good goal.
Really nice ball from Pennington. I was worried that he was just sort of going to hit and hope with it when I saw him lining up for it, but fairs, it was a really nice ball.
Really good, yeah.
You mentioned it briefly there, but Pearman takes the ball into his stride so well. I don't know what it is, but the man can carry the ball in like 3 different ways, and each of them are just really good.
It's that Rogic sort of like.
It is. He carries the ball really well. He reminds me of, and this is going to sound like a bit of a stupid comparison, but no. But like, in terms of like a player that I sort of see similar to him, in terms of the way that he carries the ball. And this is going to sound...
Just say it.
I'm not comparing him to this player. I'm just saying he reminds me of something similar to him when he carries the ball.
Right.
Someone like a De Bruyne when you get space in front of him. I knew it. No. But the way that he sort of he drives when he carries.
Yep.
He changes his pace really well. And that's something that I really like about Jaylen with his dribbling, is that his change of pace is really good. His change of direction is also really good. Like one of the hardest things I think with coaching young players, especially 10s.
Yep.
That I've at least noticed is that you need to get into their brain that you can't have wasted movement, because you get so little time and space on the ball when you are a 10 that you need to make the most of every movement.
Effective.
With Jaylen, there is no wasted movement.
No.
Every touch, every directional change has purpose.
Yep.
And you saw that with both of his goals.
Yep.
He takes the ball into his stride. He gets a man on him. He slows. He opens up. He finds the gap, and then he places his shot.
Yeah.
But it's all in sequence.
Yeah.
The second goal as well. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
He has the man in front. He changes his stride, changes the pace, then opens the gap, and then finds his shot. It all follows in sequence every time.
Josh, thoughts on that first goal?
Oh, I mean, yeah, it was just a lovely finish. I mean, yeah, both goals were sort of similar, but they were just like two. I wasn't expecting it. I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna shoot, and like surely not. But I wasn't expecting such a nice finish for like both. Like
The third goal, I think the third goal was great. The fourth one was a bonus.
Oh, 100%.
Bonus.
Yeah, agreed.
Again, and I got to stop mentioning it, but again, it just felt like one of those games last season when we had that purple patch and when we just attacked. It was just pure speed and it was just bang.
But to be fair, Adelaide also were pushing a lot higher up.
They
were. They had to go for it. They didn't have a choice.
You know, I want to make a better comparison than De Bruyne. Ilkay Gundogan.
Oh, for fuck's sake! What's the similarity between them? Both play for Man City.
No. A lot closer to Ilkay Gundogan, I think.
So you've just downgraded him.
That's not a downgrade at all, in my opinion. It's not a downgrade. It's more similarities.
Well, De Bruyne was like 91 rated. Gundogan was like 86, 87.
When you actually think about it, Gundogan's won 2 Champions Leagues, so he's actually the better player.
in terms of
No. But in terms of similar, I think Jaylen's a fantastic player.
Yeah,
But I do see a lot of similarities in sort of how he controls the ball. It's a lot more similar to how Gundogan would do it, and sort of how he strides and his ability with ball carrying is a lot more
I think
similar to
what
how
you're trying to say is that
De Bruyne
Jaylen
would do it.
Pearman controls the ball exceptionally well and is
And
very,
he strides
yeah.
exceptionally well.
and he
He's an
does not
exceptional young
waste
player.
anything on the ball, and he's
No.
very, very good at football.
As I said.
Yes.
As I said.
Second
He's
goal.
the next Messi.
Next Messi. Oh my God. okay.
Ankara
Messi. Alex, Pearman's second goal. What do you think?
Really nice. Not as good as the first, but
Still good.
Credit to Bagaria as well. So nice to see Bagaria get an assist.
Yep.
Needed that. Really needed that for his confidence, I feel.
Yep.
But look, back in the side after a stint in China, and I forgot who
He's come back.
Forgot who said the message earlier in the fan comments.
Yeah.
But he looks like a really good player.
I think it was
looks
Ethan,
like a really
yeah.
good player. Yeah, Ethan.
Yeah, it's that's the thing. There's no doubt that even for Jaylen himself, that going away to China with the under 20s, is that right?
Under 20s, yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Winning the Asian Cup as well.
But just again, being in that environment, you know, where you got the best of the under 20s Australians, and you're in that environment, and then you win the Asian Cup. And Bulgaria, ever since he came back into the team against Mariners,
Yeah.
he was a bright spot because he was just zipping around, and he had a bit of promise. And then in this game, he managed to maintain that level. And I think that's going to be the challenge for the young guys next season who had a bit of game time this season is, can we maintain a good level for a consistent period? But
Yeah.
I think in terms of Pearman's second goal, it's just the icing on the cake.
100%.
And I think, to his credit, David Zdrilic played his cards fairly well in terms of using Adelaide's game plan against them by looking to sit a little bit deeper and looking to exploit those spaces in behind. I thought I think in terms of the game, we couldn't have really done much better.
Correct.
Yeah, no.
Will is getting ready to launch here, by the way.
I can tell.
Josh, do you want to say anything before Will goes off here?
Just on that right side, it was pretty funny, like watching us cook him. Like,
Oh, there was so
Yeah.
many times. Yeah. Especially in the first half, Javi Lopez was like, he's probably signaling from the bench, like, oh shit, I'm done. I don't have to go against Miliusnic again. So, Alex, I assume that you've now perked up because I've mentioned him,
Yeah.
old Driller.
Uh-huh.
So, I think, look, what I will say to start off, credit to him because tactically we got a lot of things right. And I said, Alex, on your vlog, I'm pretty sure,
You did.
that it felt like watching that Oz Cup game where we played against Brisbane, where we didn't have to have much of the ball, but we were effective, and then we pressed at times fairly well. Check out the vlog when it gets released.
Or don't.
Probably tomorrow,
But
hopefully. If I can
That's-
edit time.
that's the thing. Where's that been all season? Number one, but number two, can we play like that again? Those are probably my big questions from this game. Will.
Now.
Oh, here we go.
Look.
Look there.
Talk. There are so many questions that have to be answered, and forever me being the pessimist.
Yeah.
A 4-1 win against
Don't be so negative, guys.
against
Oh, Will.
It's a Saturday night.
Just enjoy it, man.
against arguably.
Can we reference?
No,
that?
we
Can I
can't. Moving on.
Oh, fuck.
Get a bit of feedback.
I'm not ever, especially right now. I understand we won and it was a convincing win, and that's fantastic. This is really good. I actually enjoyed going to a football game in Perth for the first time. It feels like forever. It was
Yep.
good. But I'm not going to watch a game like this where we score 4 goals against the worst defense, arguably the worst defense in the league.
Yep.
You know,
Bar us.
bar us, and go, oh yeah, no, we're so back. No, we're not. Okay,
I agree, Will.
Like we are not so back because this is one game, right? Let's talk about any other scenario here where
Can I
this
just-
was
Can I quickly butt in though?
No.
No, let him finish.
where
Okay.
this doesn't make sense. All right,
Right.
Let's say you're at uni,
Yep.
right?
Oh no.
Right. and you have failed 24 tests in a row.
Right.
Number 25. Oh, wow. Okay, you got like a 70%, 75. Wow.
90%.
Okay, 90% on a test on the easiest subject. Congratulations. Do you pass?
spell your name
Do you pass the class? Absolutely not.
No. But there's a difference, right?
Yeah.
This is not the easiest subject.
No,
it's one of the easier one.
Yeah.
The one before that.
Brisbane, you mean?
Well, it was Western United, but the one before that.
I understand what you're
was
saying.
the easiest one.
And you failed that one.
This is like going into
Disgustingly.
this is like going into addition subtraction, failing that test,
Look,
and then succeeding in times.
I will be
tables.
completely
Yes.
honest. Do I think Pearman carried us? He got 2 goals and 1
Yes.
assist. Yes. Do I think it was a little bit of a fluke? Yes. Do I think we look better? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Also,
Do I think we'll beat Auckland next week? No.
No.
I did have this analogy for you, James, and I want to get an answer from you because you didn't give me a proper answer earlier. I'm going to say it again.
Yes.
Let's say you have a striker, right? You give them 25 one-on-one chances. 2 of those one-on-one chances, they score, only barely. They scuff their shot a bit, hits the post, goes in, whatever. The rest of those 21 shots, miss them all.
Mm-hmm.
That last shot, they rifle into the net. Beautiful shot. In the end, they've scored 3 out of 25. 1 was convincing, 2 were kind of shit, but they went in. 21 they missed, or
Yep.
22 they missed.
Yep.
What do you think of that striker?
So what, like
what-
Valorant Jaman?
Huh?
No.
Mate, Jamal was sick.
Mate, he's got 100 games.
Mate,
from
you
last day and
stink.
He scored like 3 goals.
Jaman's been one of the best strikers.
Yeah, but
Josh,
Not in
this
the-
is why you
No,
get slandered,
you mean more
bro.
Soterio.
okay.
Soterio.
Soterio.
Rim bullet.
No, look, number one, I don't like the premise of your question because
Answer the question, James.
because I don't like how it lacks context. But on face value, just hold on. On face value, 3 out of 25 is not good.
Correct.
And have I not been fairly critical of David
You
Zdrilic
have.
on this podcast?
You have.
I've been fairly critical here. I've been fairly critical on pretty much every single platform possible.
Correct.
All I'm saying, I will answer your question,
James.
Alex. I will answer your question,
Be careful what you say here, James.
but
As a Man United fan.
no, hold on.
no, let me rephrase this question for you. As a
Right.
Man United fan, so you can get it.
Okay.
Rasmus Højlund goes up tomorrow.
No,
let's say Rasmus Højlund.
Shut up.
No, just hold on.
Let him talk.
The point was, do we have the capacity to be that striker that can score those top shots? And the striker that, in your example, did, albeit once out of 25. Now, the question is, if you give that striker better resources to train his technique and more time, can we see it more consistently? Perhaps, because you're also forgetting that he scored 2 very good shots before he took those 23 or 24 shots, albeit he missed, let's say, a penalty. The question on Zdrilic, at least after this game, I won't be long, Josh. The question,
Let me finish.
the question after this game is whether we have the ability to repeat it, because we said all the way in the beginning of the preseason, this is great if we can carry this over into the A-League. But ever since we got into the A-League, we never saw a performance like we did in the Australia Cup. Today we did, and that's why I was sort of saying, okay, Zdrilic is sort of winning me back. And I maybe got a little bit too carried away like I normally do.
Which is fair enough, you're excited.
But at that same
I
point,
was just enjoying it, guys.
the question is, again, can you repeat it? You've shown that you have the capacity to do it, but the question is, can you repeat it?
Mm-hmm.
And next season, if Zdrilic is given better players, because the pressure's now for me on Stan and Ross, if you give him better players and a more stable preseason, can we see better?
In my opinion,
I'm willing
no.
to give it a go.
I mean, look, obviously, I feel like I'll wait till next week, but I still feel like I've seen enough.
What are we expecting against Auckland, though, realistically?
I haven't finished.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
I haven't seen enough.
Honestly, girl boss.
Gaslight.
I feel like
gatekeep,
Slay.
girl
what I'm
boss
gonna
right
do.
now.
Slay.
We're gonna change perspectives, right?
Okay.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
change
I'm
clubs.
sorry, yeah, I'm here.
We're gonna use Tottenham as an example. 'cause
I'm here,
everyone
Josh.
hates Tottenham,
I'm
right?
locked in. Yes.
Okay.
Right, okay.
So you're Tottenham.
Yep.
You lose every single game of the season, or 24 of the 27, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you beat Birmingham City in the EFL Cup.
Okay.
Are you Ange in or Ange out?
I don't like. Again, I think.
Yeah, he got it.
No, I think the constraints of that scenario are wrong relative to our situation.
Well, what's different?
Because we convincingly put away Adelaide. That's the difference. Oh shit! Alex has just died on the spot. This is the thing for the viewers. We have been debating David Zdrilic's position as the head coach religiously. This has come.
Guys, why don't you just be more positive? We won a game against Adelaide.
Saturday night, prime
Because we
time.
paid $400 for a season ticket. But we debate this shit every week.
This is the thing. We did not see this coming.
Yeah, no shit, Jay.
We did not see this fucking
We
coming.
literally turned up to the game saying, I'm expecting us to lose,
To get
and I
belted.
hope it happens so that we are justified in our criticism. That is what was happening. We saw the first 2 goals go in, and we went, fuck's sake, this is going to hurt when we blow it. And we didn't blow it.
And
Yeah.
For once, we
I
didn't
just
blow
want
it.
to clarify, we didn't go in there wanting us to lead,
No.
wanting us to lose. We're just
It's the
expecting it.
expectation.
Expecting it.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. We've shown something that we haven't been able to do all season. That we can agree on, right? We've not
Yes.
scored. We haven't, and we also haven't won a game by more than 3 goals since December 2021. Now, I'm not saying that we're back. I'm just saying it's important to praise the players.
Sounds like you're saying we're back.
I'm saying no. I'm saying praise the players because they've been shit all season.
I also just think a broken clock is right twice a day. You know?
Sure, that's fair. Yeah,
Like,
that's fair.
I just think, if Dave is so stuck in the mud with his tactics,
Yep.
eventually he's going to stick to the same thing over and over and over again, and it's going to work sometime.
What was the point? That
You know what it is like, right? It is just like if you play the lottery every week
Yeah.
with the same numbers, you pick
Yeah.
the exact same numbers every week. Eventually,
So you're essentially you're saying it's a
eventually
fluke.
you are going
No,
to hit.
No, hold on. What I was going to say was, I was telling this to you after the game as
Yeah.
well. It's clear that the club are not going to sack David Zdrilic
Correct.
right here, right
Yes.
now. He is their guy. They confirmed it in the chairman's function,
Yep.
and then Zdrilic himself confirmed it at full time. Okay.
Yep.
So any possible scenario of us going for a Aloisi or a Buckingham or a Graham Arnold or fucking Brady, whoever, forget
Not
about it.
happening.
Not happening. All right.
As
so-
much as we're not happy about it, it is the current situation.
well,
So
it's
this is where I agree with James.
No,
You say your point,
so-
but this is where I agree.
So this is the thing, right?
Yes.
That is the scenario that's
This
been
is what's
presented
happening.
towards us. Okay,
Yeah.
so now we have to accept it. Now it's like, okay, Ross and our new vice chairman, who got announced out of nowhere, Jason Bontempo,
Congratulations.
and Stan Lazaridis. What are you going to do to make sure that if Zdrilic is your guy,
Yep.
if you're so fully backed, if you're willing to back him and he is your guy and you quite believe in his vision,
Yep.
prove to us that you are going to back him. Because Zdrilic will quite rightly argue in terms of cohesion, in the sense of the squads that we had over the course of the whole season, it's been a mess.
Yes.
And he will say, well, if I get a stable squad that I get to work with early from the whole preseason and I get to work them into my philosophy, then we should be seeing far more tangible improvement where ideally there's a stable squad. Ideally, we're not having to change the team every single week and we can make minimal change, have some consistency.
Yep.
In theory, on those circumstances alone, we should
Yep.
be seeing better performances.
Yep.
But the pressure for me is on whether Stan and Ross and Bontempo, and by extension, I guess, Radic, can get better players into the squad, and then it's on Zdrilic if it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, you part ways.
Yes.
But they've at least drawn a line in the sand now, where it's like, okay, forget Zdrilic. That's another thing. He's staying. But now I think it's on the club to back him. If he is your guy, back him.
Yeah.
and
If
then
you're,
we'll see if he's
you're
the right
going to be
one or not.
so steadfast in he is our man,
prove it. Yeah.
show that you really mean it and that you're actually going to give him the funding and the players that he wants to build with. Don't just give him, like beginning of this season, a bunch of NPL players saying that they're the next Salah and the next this and the next that.
Just real quick though, if let's say we do get in the players we want, how are we going to ensure that we're fit by next season?
Well, that's a good question, but that should be directed towards the club, because does our coach have enough resources to get these players fit enough? Like,
Because I feel like it's out of his control a little bit.
But if Zdrilic could show that his brand of football could work with Sydney FC, what do we need to do to make the brand of football work at Perth Glory?
I think it's just a hard thing to sell at the moment because we're all stuck on it could work, but there's not a lot of it will work. It will.
So
work.
how can we? But that's the thing.
How can we get from it could work to it will work?
So what do we think?
It needs to be better at all levels. Ross needs to ensure that he's spending the money intelligently, and that he knows what he is doing, and is not just treating this as some fucking throwaway sideshow. Stan needs to pull his fucking hair out of his ass and stop saying dumb shit. Don't say dumb shit. Here's the thing, right? I've said this before on the pod.
Yep.
If you take out every single word that Stan Lazaridis has said this season, let's just, in an alternate universe, he's made all his signings, he's done all this, except the only change, he's never said a fucking word to the press, to anyone. We've never heard from him.
There'd be far more pressure on Zdrilic.
No. Just even then, would we look at this season and say, oh, Stan's been terrible? I don't think I would.
No.
I genuinely would not.
It's because
he signed Luke Amos. He's been great since he came in. Signed Pennington. He's been a fantastic player for us. Signed Gamulka, who's been good in parts. Signed some good young players. He's brought through some decent players per position. He's built a decent squad, right? I wouldn't be pissed if it weren't for the fact that he was saying, oh, next year we'll win the fuck up. We'll challenge for top 6. We're going to be competitive.
The key distinction is, if Zdrilic was going to be win now, you wouldn't have signed him on a more long-term deal. You would have had him on a short-term deal, I guess, to sort of prove that he is the guy to win now.
No,
but he was never...
Even aside from that.
When he was like, we will win next week.
Yeah, but look,
that was stupid.
Even aside from that, it's the fact that at all levels, and they have promised this change, they have done this, at the members, whatever the hell, the chairman's fucking party dinner, hoorah. They have promised change for the second time.
Yes.
They didn't give it the first time. They said we wouldn't recognise the club in 12 months, and the only way I don't recognise it is that we somehow went from bottom in a 12-team league to bottom in a 13-team league.
Yeah.
So if we thought it couldn't get any worse last year, certainly did. The only thing that needs to happen is change. It needs to change in Ross's mindset. He needs to spend his money smartly. He needs to know what the fuck he's doing. He needs to employ qualified people that have half a fucking brain. Stan, if he's going to stay on as director of football, needs to shut the fuck up and deliver results.
Deliver a really impressive
Jason
window.
Bontempo needs to get on top of shit. Make sure shit is running properly when Ross is not here. And Zdrilic needs to be adaptable. He cannot be running the exact same shit when it is not working. He needs to prove that he can be more adaptable as a tactician, more pragmatic. Yeah. He needs to prove that he can be a better leader and a better talker. He can't be coming on every week to a press conference and saying, oh, we lost because we had no preseason. Oh, yeah, we lost because we're not fit.
Yeah, no, I agree.
When you're 25 games into a fucking season, you cannot blame fitness. But I do not care if 3/4 of the squad are injured. That is on the club for not either recruiting right or not being able to get a squad of professional players fit when you are 80% of the way through a season.
So realistically, next season there's no excuses.
No excuses.
Yeah, it is.
It's all or nothing. If we don't have some serious form of either further progression towards a promising project or success, you can't have both.
We've got to.
You can't have. For me, I don't think you can have both. I don't think that you can have a solid project building year or success. No,
what we should have done is we should have been far more careful with how we approached this season. Would we be feeling this same way if both Stan and Ross said, look, we have got to smash this fucker down year one, and it's going to be pretty ugly, but what it will do is it will give us the leeway or the resources or whatever we need so that by year 2 and year 3 we are there.
If they said that, we wouldn't be in this situation.
That's a stupid problem. And it's not just Stan. It's stupid bloody Ross as well, because he said we're going to get at the top of the table fairly quickly next season. Shouldn't have said that. We overestimated things to the umpteenth degree.
But we only did that because of what we were told. Like we can only go as far as what we get told by the club.
No, but I'm blaming Stan and Ross.
No, I'm just saying, but that's not our fault. We were told all these promises, and we believed that these new owners would do this for us, and they just didn't.
Yeah, and the pressure by extension was then thrown onto Zdrilic because, like, well, hold on, we were told to expect finals, we were told to expect wow signings, we were told to expect a brand of football that people would want to come through the turnstiles to see.
Yes. Look, I'm all for giving people second chances, though. So,
what about 25?
Huh?
25 chances.
No, but I'm more mean Ross. I mean, obviously, he's still new to this. I know he owned Catania, but he's still new to this ownership sort of.
Well, then he needs
There's
to
a
get.
big difference between getting a side promoted from Serie D with a decent budget and a large
But
following
if
compared to being able to save a struggling A-League
well, then
franchise.
if he has those concerns, then he needs to bring in people with better repute within the A-League. No offense, but you've got to bring in people that know what they're doing. Bring in people that have got a bit of experience.
So
people
you're
that-
Zdrilic out now.
No,
But we're not
That's
saying
not what
we're
I'm
Zdrilic
saying.
out, but we're saying that we should have never been in this situation where we're having to argue as to why we're holding on to unqualified people.
Just-
if you got us
yeah.
Jacob Burns over Stan
Yeah.
Lazaridis, if you got us the Aloisi brothers over David Zdrilic or something along those lines, we would not be having
Prior-
this conversation.
prior
Because
to-
even if
Yeah.
we had a shit season after that, we
Yeah.
know that it is not down to inexperienced people. It is a foundational, fundamental problem with the club. It is not down to how the club is run. If you get inexperienced
Yeah.
people like the Aloisi brothers,
Yeah.
like Jacob Burns, then you know. Look, if you get those appointments, we're not in this situation in the first place. But if you do get those appointments in, then you know it's something fundamental with the
before-
club, not down to poor appointments.
but before David was appointed, we all said he is a good coach because of his journey and the fact that you don't go to the likes of Red Bull Leipzig, Genoa, Ostende, Chicago, and then Sydney FC if you are a shit coach. We already said he's a good coach. At the start of the season, who did we blame for the recruitment though? Alex, we said the recruitment was on freaking Lazaridis for not giving him a good squad, and I said that Lazaridis has failed Zdrilic. And then because Zdrilic couldn't really adapt within the shit that we had, I started blaming Zdrilic more because he wasn't pragmatic enough. We couldn't get results. But I think the focus should really be geared towards, now that Zdrilic is staying, it's like, okay, there's going to be pressure on Zdrilic. There's no doubt about that. But there has to be more pressure on the club to deliver because ultimately they've got to try and sell Perth Glory back to everyone.
I would say first half of the season, I would like to put on Lazaridis for the poor recruitment and
100%.
just the false promises.
Stupid comments.
The second half of the season for me, before
Zdrilic?
tonight, is on Driller.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because
Yeah.
he had signings that he wanted, good players,
Yep.
A-League experienced players, former Socceroos, really good Asian talent, really good players at a good Asian pedigree that he couldn't perform with.
The thing I will say though,
Everything forward from the start of next season forward,
Yep.
in my mind, is on Ross Pelligra.
Yeah.
Because if you are Ross Pelligra and you are backing David Zdrilic to lead this project, you are not allowing Stan to make signings or make comments unless he is heavily scrutinised. You are not allowing him to go out and spend money la-di-da without proper research being done, without proper people on the job out there making sure that you're getting in the best of the best. You are not allowing a single decision to be made at this club without being absolutely fucking sure
There's no
that
room
it
for
is the right
failure.
decision and there is no room for failure.
The
So
good-
everything next season is on Ross Pelligra.
The thing I will say about Stan though is at least he's learned from his mistakes because obviously it's his first time in the role.
Yeah.
Like he was learning on the job and he's learned from his mistake. Like he has shut his mouth. He has made better signings in my opinion more recently.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean maybe this is the start for Dave.
Well,
Who
this is
knows?
the thing. If we replicate that performance that we had against Adelaide today, yes, okay, Adelaide can't defend to save their lives. But if we can replicate that level of performance where the boys attacked properly and defended fairly reasonably okay, would that be a start in terms of getting people back through the door in the sense of
100%.
fans?
Yeah.
Well,
100%.
so we'd be happy because by and large, forget what our thoughts were on Zdrilic. What we saw today in terms
Yeah.
of a brand of football, that was a very good step forward.
Yeah, for sure.
But the question is, like I mentioned before, is can we do it again? And I guess sort of turning our focus now to our 2 games in New Zealand, we may as well preview the Auckland game because we've got a bye following this game, and then we go straight to New Zealand. So, what do we think about the Auckland game? What should there's obviously our expectation that we think the boys might get belted, but what should the players be looking to do to try and, I guess, keep on winning us back? So
May I just butt in?
Absolutely, yeah.
I have just been overwhelmed with a feeling of joy
Uh-oh.
for the first time in over a year for sure.
Everton scored?
No. I have had a weekend of football where Perth Glory and Everton have both won.
Wow.
Did they win?
They just beat Nottingham with a 94th minute winner.
Fucking hell.
I have not experienced this since probably I was in high school.
Wow.
I am lost right now. I've just.
He's quinning.
Oh, I don't actually. This feels weird.
He's no longer grimacing.
Both
quinning.
my clubs have won a game on the same day.
So
wow. Anyway, continue.
Auckland,
That was cringe.
sorry.
All right. Sorry, you guys all support clubs who win things. Okay.
what do you?
Supports United, mate. No chance.
They won the cup last year.
We won a trophy more recently than you guys. Who cares? Who cares? Will,
Yeah.
what do you want to see from the boys against Auckland?
A goal.
No,
No, I want to see a bit more than a goal.
Highly
Okay.
ambitious.
I would like to see my own philosophy of football being applied, which is I would rather lose 3 or 4-0,
Yeah.
or like 3 or 4-1 because we're bombing it forward and we're really trying to get those
Trying to
goals
attack.
and we're pressing and we're
Yeah.
being aggressive.
Yeah, sure.
Then lose 1-0 or 2-0 because we sat back and we defended losing by only a couple.
And bitched it out.
I want to
almost.
do what we
Yeah.
did this week, and if it means we lose by a lot, but I can see that we tried and we really did that press and we gave it a hot crack, then I'm happy.
Alex.
I would agree with Will. I do want to see more of this philosophy that we had tonight of sort of just throw it the fuck forward and let's just go for it, man. Honestly, that was beautiful. And if that's going to mean that, look, the only thing that I can ask in these last 2 games is that the boys are fearless. Go out there, play the game, impress us, and just go with it, honestly.
Yep.
We have nothing to lose. Whether we take the spoon or whether we don't take the spoon, realistically, does it matter? Not really. No one gives a shit. I don't give a shit. We won the game today, and it took me a good 30 minutes before I even considered the fact that we were off the bottom of the table. I didn't even think about it.
I kind of care.
No. I know we care, obviously, but it's like a back thought in my mind.
Yeah,
I want
of course.
to see
At this
progression.
point in the mind,
And look,
important
something that
time.
I would love to see. I want to see some of the young boys being given a crack in these next few games.
Yeah, sure.
Majeka Dunmi needs to start these last 2 games, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
played really well today. Needs to start these last 2. Jaylen obviously needs to start the last 2. I would like to see Bulgaria maybe given a start for one of the 2, maybe even Kwa. All right, but I want to see some of the young guys that we are going to be building these foundations off going forward. I want to see them back in this team, and I want to see how they can perform. Even Trent Osler, maybe give him a run at right back against Wellington.
Yeah.
Wouldn't mind it at all.
Well-
Here's the thing: this Auckland game, I would like to see an experienced performance, put out our best squad,
Sure.
and just go with an experienced, fearless performance like we did tonight. That game against Wellington, there is a lot more room to be able to put those young guys into an environment where it's going to be tough.
That's a winnable game.
It's a winnable game, I understand. But I would rather put in some younger guys to get them that experience and say, hey, this is an away game. It's the distance derby.
Yep.
All right? It's against a team that is going to play absolute cancer ball.
Absolute shit.
Absolute cancer ball under Italiano. So go out there and just express yourselves. See what you can do. Get a feel for how a tough A-League game is going to be. Get a feel for how it's going to be when a squad is just trying to make it impossible for you to break them down. That's going to be invaluable experience for them. I think that's what's needed in that last game of the season. And I would much rather see that than see Pat Wood and all these lot just wheeled out there.
It's I think
I have nothing against
No,
Pat Wood, by the
no.
way. I just want to see the young guys, the players that we are going to have that foundation built off of next season.
We would
wheeled out there.
we would just hate, I think, period, to see a negative brand of football. I think we wouldn't care who's on the pitch if we just played that balls to the wall sort of let's just go with it. If we end up losing like it's a fucking cricket score, but we're still playing that brand of football, I don't think we would care
That's all
really
we
who's
want.
starting.
That's all we want. I would like to see the young guys, but I just want to see good football.
But that's the thing. Auckland and their fans are going to be thinking, oh, this will be a nice win. There is the possibility that they may get a little bit too comfortable. And that's where it's up to the players to show that they are ready to take that next step. Because like I said, is this a false dawn or are we actually showing no? Zdrilic has been saying there's been good performances. I haven't necessarily agreed with that, but today this was a good performance.
If we can avoid defeat to Auckland, would that make us the only team to go unbeaten against Auckland this season?
Yes.
I think that would.
Yes,
All we
that
need
would.
to do
There's
is just
something to play for.
repeat what we did today. Like the only negative I can think about is just if we can just control that, like in moments, if we can slow the game down and
Manage the game.
Yep, stop giving it away, because then we can, you can rest the players a little bit and they can conserve their energy a bit better.
Yeah.
And they won't be gassed all the time.
All right.
I think that wraps it up.
We have yapped
That
on
just
for
about
quite a
wraps it up,
while.
yeah.
Look, at the
It
end of the
is
day,
midnight.
we are all fans of the club.
We do go to the games.
We do go to the games. It's been a really fun season. We're not quite there yet, but obviously the home stretch is done.
Yep.
I missed a few games while I was in Europe.
Yep.
So did Josh. You missed a couple.
Saying that you don't go to the games?
Shut up.
Fucking hell, Will.
But all in all, it was a hard season to go and watch. But at the end of the day,
For once, they put in a good performance at home.
it was nice. It was a nice way to end it. Apologies if we do sound a little bit. Or either
We are
Past midnight
recording
now.
this
Past
at
midnight.
it's past
12
midnight.
o'clock.
Or a little bit, not as happy as we probably should be. When I say to you that right now I am over the moon that I've watched Perth put 4 and Everton have just scored a last-minute winner against Third to win a game, I am over the moon, but my face is as shocked because I am tired.
Yeah.
But thank you very much for listening.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys.
And
And
all
look,
Well done to the
look,
players.
as Will did say, it has been a really tough season for
Loads of reasons.
all Glory fans,
Yep.
I'd say, but especially
Yep.
for us on the
Yeah,
pod.
yep.
Show us your sympathy, but no, I'm joking.
That's right.
But in all seriousness, it was nice to end it on a big win. And hey, we all went into the game today saying that we 100% were not renewing our memberships. And god damn it, just when I thought
Egg is on our face.
Yeah.
just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. But
Cringe.
aside from that, thank you all so much for your continuous support
Thanks,
on
guys.
the podcast. Thank you all so much for your support on the home games.
Shout
and
out to the
everything like
Pearmans.
that. Shout out to the Pearman family and
We'd
to the
love to have
Franey
you on
and
the
to the
pod.
Franey family
And-
as well. Constant support from you
thanks,
guys.
I would just like to say as well to everyone who comments on our Twitter and stuff, asking us questions. Obviously, a lot of you guys, if not all of you, do comment, go to the games as well.
Yep.
Shout out to you guys because
100%.
it's been a tough season, and yet I will say our attendance is still better than a lot of other teams in the league who are doing a lot better than us.
Yeah.
So
Smelly MacArthur.
not just us. Shout out to you guys who still go to the games and give Glory your money, and you show up there and you sit there and you watch all of it.
Yep.
We all deserve that win today.
Mhm.
We all deserve that.
Alrighty.
If I can put a request into the board, can my wages please be No, I'm just-
Brilliant.
Fuck's sake.
all right,
wrap it up.
all right.
End the
Thank you all
pod.
so much
Cheers,
for
guys.
watching.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.